The Good Guy Experience.
What is up, everybody? I am your host, K to the A to the J A E. I am KJ, and to my right, the one, the only Black Pearl in the house, everybody. All right, we also got the elusive, the exclusive artwork photos in the house, everybody. And my man, 50 grand, Mr. J Weeks in the house, everybody.
Yo.
And last but not least, my homegirl, Ash Jones in the building. She made it.
Ashley, where you at?
How's everybody's week been? How has everybody's week been?
Amazing.
It's going.
It's going.
Ashley, in the club? In the club?
You
do look like she in the club, right?
I know. It do look like I'm in the club. I'm in my room though. Sorry.
Let me find out you in the club on a Wednesday. Like, got the club going up on Tuesday.
I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that.
What
you
mean you too old? Come on.
I'm old. Look, I work too much.
Hey, look.
Lord.
Hey, look, guys, I'm going to tell y'all what. It's only Wednesday, and I done retired 3 times from my job. I'm telling you, I done retired 3 times. So, look, the first thing I want to start off with, we had some things happen this week. I want to ask, did anybody catch the Method Man versus Red Man? Did anybody catch that versus, man? Please tell me you did. Please tell me you caught the versus.
It was wonderful. I love Red Man. I would never miss that.
Man, I'm a Mr. Mepster fan. When I came to bring the pain, I thought I was just gonna go crazy. I'm flipping. I'm like, it made me hate this new school rap all over again. Did you catch it, Weeks? Did you catch it, artwork?
I actually missed it, man. I usually don't miss a good versus, but I missed this one. But I'm about to watch the replay though. I'm definitely gonna download the playlist though.
In the words of ODB, shame on you.
Really?
I was about to say I'm the same way. I got to go back and watch it. I was swamped in work this week.
That's terrible. That is terrible. I mean, guys, you got to do better. Go back and catch the replay. It is definitely worth it. In other news, Derek Chauvin convicted on all 3 counts yesterday. How do we feel about that? I mean, is it a victory for the people?
It's just the beginning. That's accountability.
Yeah.
It ain't justice to me. It's accountability. I'm not with all that.
Well, yeah, and I agree. It's definitely not justice. It's definitely accountability. And I don't think it's a victory yet. I just think we're pointed in the right direction. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little fishy to me. I'm still like, I want 365 days, 24/7 surveillance. I don't believe he going to jail. I want to see him right.
So what you say? You don't believe it?
It's just hard to believe. I'm just joking, but I would love to see surveillance though, because I just want to make sure he's actually in jail. I feel like after the court cases be done, it's like we don't know nothing else unless they commit suicide. We don't really know nothing else after that.
I wanted to ask, because on top of that, in the same day, we had another tragic murder with Ma'Khia Bryant. In the same day, guys. So can we count these as victories, guys, when it's still happening?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that situation, I actually went back and watched the video, and she was getting ready to stab the little girl. So I feel like he kind of had to make a decision. I'm not saying he should have shot her and killed her, but I did see that it was a knife involved. That's why you got to kind of go look at the whole story to try to figure out what really happened. So once I saw it was a knife involved, I'm like, I mean, he could have definitely tased her. He didn't have to shoot her. So yeah.
Well, wasn't it she was defending herself because she was gonna get jumped or something like that? So she was already in defense mode.
Stabbing the girl to me, look, she had the knife. She was getting ready to stab somebody.
Well, they said that they were coming at her, but my thing at the end of the day, it's still not the same treatment that she would have received if she was melanin deficient. Okay, so I don't agree with that. They should have calmed her down and drove her to Burger King, get her a kids meal, and then took her to jail.
Yep, exactly. Like they would the Caucasians, exactly. Cause I actually saw it was two guys broke into an apartment in Briar Creek, and it was two white guys off meth and some other drugs. So they broke into this young lady's apartment, was chilling in her house, putting her man clothes on and all this other stuff. And the police came and got him, and they ain't do nothing but take him to Burger King and took him back home.
Now Jay Weeks artwork. I know some things have happened in you guys' hometown, in your backyard. Did you want to speak on that?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I haven't lived there for a long time, but of course that's where I'm from. And I mean, the thing is, the sad part is, every city I have lived in Elizabeth, in North Carolina, a shooting has happened with the police, and it made national news. Raleigh, Charlotte, now my hometown, Elizabeth City. So it's like when people say it's one-off situations. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. In my situation, the 3 cities I done lived in, this happened. So the probability is kind of high. It's starting to look like it's kind of high. Like it's crazy that, I mean, if you're from Elizabeth City, you know that most of the police there are cool people. Like, you know what I mean? I've done been pulled over many a times in Elizabeth City and went home. You know, the cops are, you know, I'm not saying all the cops are cool, but the ones I came across, and it's just crazy it happened. You know, and Moss, I mean, I know you can speak on it. I mean, it's like, this is like the craziest thing that ever happened in our little town.
So what actually happened? What is do you guys know the brother's name or anything like that?
Well, the thing is, I don't know too much about the story. I know that it happened very early this morning, about 8:30. The thing is, I work outside of the county of the city that I actually live in, so I wasn't able to follow this too closely as it was going on. I know that the brother is leaving behind, children and stuff like that. Prayers to his family and everything. And as Weeks was just explaining, like, the cops here just a year ago, they were having, a vigil, like, after the George Floyd situation occurred and everything. They had a thing where they actually brought the community together. So just a little over a year later, we're having this. No one ever thinks, oh, this will happen inside of my town. Like, you're thinking this is only things that you hear on the news, and then it hits home, and it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, plus, test some light on it. From my understanding, it wasn't our cops that did it. It was a cop from Dare County that was serving a warrant, and I guess he was escorted by a sheriff from Elizabeth City or from Pasquotank County. And I mean, I don't want to talk about the details of what I heard until I see some hard facts. So I think it's irresponsible for me to say, oh, I heard this, I heard that. At the end of the day, a young black man lost his life, and I knew him. I didn't, and it's just sad that this happened to him. It's somebody that I actually know, that this happened to, and it made national news because Sean King talked about it. The New York Post posted about it, and also CNN said something about it. So it's gonna be all over the place soon that this happened. So before the facts come out, I don't want to say what I heard, but at the end of the day, the man was shot and killed, and he was unarmed.
Well, our thoughts, our prayers, and condolences go out to the family, guys. And with everything that's going on, I'm hoping that we can continue to strive and continue to look upward in this nation. Today, we are focused on fitness, ladies and gentlemen. Fitness, and we are blessed to have 2 outstanding guests with us to help us navigate through the truths and the myths of fitness. Our first co-guest for this evening, she was has been in the fitness industry for over 20 years. She got her start in Baltimore, Maryland as a part-time group fitness instructor and decided to make fitness a full-time career in 2015. She has trained in various formats, from one-on-one, online, and boot camps, but she specializes in small group HIIT workouts. She currently is a program manager for Redemption Fitness in Henderson, Nevada, where she designs and coaches their boxing, strength, and HIIT workouts. She can be reached via Instagram at Monica Vegas, or at Fit Monica Vegas, excuse me, or at fitmonicavegas@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the panel, Miss Monica Hines. How you doing today?
I am great. Thank you guys for having me so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, so how are things going for you? How was your day? How's the week going for you?
It's a good week. It's a good week. Training some new coaches at Redemption, working out my clients, designing a nutrition plan for somebody right now. So it's been a good and busy week so far.
Well, we look forward to diving more into fitness with you. All right. But our second co-host has been in bodybuilding for 33 years, guys. 33 years. He's been personal training and coaching for over 20. He's won multiple bodybuilding titles, including the 2010 NPA Mr. NC. He specializes in weight loss, contest coaching, muscle building, and more. His services include one-on-one personal training for people in the Long Island area, one-on-one Zoom sessions, online nutritional counseling, and contest coaching. He can be reached on Facebook at Joseph Orhablo or by email at josephcorhablo@gmail.com or text message 631-902-1738. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joseph Orhablo to the panel, ladies and gentlemen. How we feeling today, man? How we feeling? I think we have a little bit of lag going.
Great,
all right,
man. Really busy day today, training clients.
All right, so it was a good day for you, man.
Up a little bit and having a little bit of a connection problem.
Hey, that's all right. We'll get it on track. So
definitely
we're gonna jump right into it, guys. What are some things that made you guys get into fitness? What made you say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. This is the route I want to take. Fitness is my niche, whether it's bodybuilding or whether it's working with people. What made you get into it? Joe, I'm gonna start with you. All right, we're having a little bit of connection issue with Joe. So, Monica,
yes,
we're going to start with you. So, what made you get into fitness?
I initially started in fitness because I gained a bunch of weight in college and wanted to lose it. I started taking group fitness classes. This is way back in the day, so I was taking, step aerobics and high-low aerobics, and just when Zumba came out. And I moved from North Carolina to Baltimore and joined a very small women's gym and loved taking all of the classes. And one of the instructors was like, you're really good with people. You've got a great sense of rhythm. You pick up choreography really quickly. Have you ever thought about being an instructor? And at the time I was like, no, I never even considered it. Well, she ended up mentoring me and trained me as an instructor. I went and got certified. And and then took off from there. And I was just doing it part-time. I had my career that was just starting at the time, and I would coach on weekends or after work. And I really loved it. I absolutely loved it. So once I moved to Vegas, my career continued. But once my company kind of went under, everyone was like, you're really good at this, and it's obviously your passion. So why don't you go ahead and get certified and try and make this as a full-time career. And that's what I ended up doing. I got certified as a personal trainer. A new gym opened up and they were looking for trainers in a HIIT format. And I never coached HIIT before, but they're like, it's kind of a hybrid between your personal training and your group fitness that you're very familiar with. They hired me. I ended up being their head coach and managing that studio, and kind of the rest is history from there.
Awesome. Now, for the people at home that don't understand, what is HIIT? What does that stand for? What is HIIT training?
HIIT training stands for high intensity interval training. So basically, you're getting your heart rate up and then taking it back down in intervals. So it's a very efficient way to work out. It combines both your cardio element and your strength element. Usually HIIT sessions can be anywhere from 20 minutes, usually to no more than an hour. So it's a really good way to get yourself kind of in and out, hit everything, and get a really good workout in.
Right. Good job. Good job. So what you're saying is if you're on the go, you don't have a lot of time during the day, you can go in and you can get a quick HIIT session with Monica and then be about your day. Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, just remember that, guys. HIIT training is the way to go. Go see Monica. Go get that HIIT training, guys. Go get that HIIT training. What I want to do, I want to see is Joe. Joe, are you there with us? Are you back? Is the connection back? I'm not hearing anything from Joe. Hopefully he'll return to us with his connection restored. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to allow other panelists to ask Monica questions. Does anybody have any questions for Monica right now from the other panelists?
Yeah, Monica, what would you say to like women? Because I know this is like the biggest stigma when women like when it comes to working out. They keep saying, some say I don't want to look man.
Right.
Like for prime example, like my wife, she's like real petite, and when she do like work out, she gain muscle really fast, and she be concerned that she might look too masculine. I was telling her, like, no, I mean, you look fine, So what would you say to like women that want to strength train, but they are afraid of, bulking up too much?
I would tell them to lift those weights because it is very, very, very difficult for women to get masculine and bulky from lifting weights because we don't have as much testosterone as men.
Yeah.
So you see those women in bodybuilding competitions, they have to work really, 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 really hard to get that bulk on them. They have to eat a lot and they have to lift super heavy weights over an extended amount of time. For the general population of women, if you're going in and doing strength training, you are not going to get big and bulky. You are going to get defined. You are going to gain muscle tone, and you're probably going to shed fat because the more muscle you have on your body, the quicker you burn calories and the quicker you burn fat. But if you're afraid of looking bulky, do not be afraid of the weights. It will take a lot over years and years for you, or a lot of supplements and other stuff for you to look masculine and bulky by lifting weights. So I always tell women, if you only do cardio, what's going to end up happening, you're going to get skinny fat and you're going to lean out, sure, but you're not going to have any definition. Your strength is going to be low. And I've been guilty myself of doing too much cardio and then being like, why is my booty not lifted anymore? It's because I went away from the weights. In order to have that, you got to lift the weights. So I would tell women not to be afraid of it.
Well, thank you for that explanation. I don't know if Joe is back or he's sleeping or meditating or what right now, but
or Joe.
But hopefully, Joe, how we feeling, Joe? Joe, are you with us, Joe? Well, I guess he's still working on that connection. But what you are saying, Monica, is the weights are just as important as the cardio. Because what I see, especially a lot with women, like you pointed out, a lot of women want to run to the cardio section. They want to run to the treadmill. They want to say, hey, this is all I need. This is all I need to do. I don't need any of that weight. What you're saying is the weight may be as important, if not more important than cardio.
Absolutely. Cardio is great for building endurance, for building stamina. Your heart and your lungs will get really strong. And it's great to burn calories. Sure, absolutely. The more you move with your body, the more calories you're going to burn. But if you want that toned up look, that defined look, you want to get some strength, you can't do it with just cardio alone. You just can't. You have to do strength training as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. So does anybody else on the panel have a question for Monica?
So Monica, I hear you talking about weights. and cardio and all the other stuff. But what other major changes did you make? Did you have to like totally throw away everything you love to eat to
I did not,
adopt
but
this lifestyle?
I did have to change my diet for sure. Like I am one who believes in balance and moderation. So I'm not one to say like you will never eat a cookie again. I eat a cookie every night. I am not one to say, don't ever go out to eat again. You can do those things, but you have to be balanced and moderate. Have a cookie, don't have 10 cookies. Make sure you're eating enough protein. A lot of times women in particular struggle with getting enough protein in their diet. And protein is what builds and maintains muscle. A lot of times people want to carb up, they're eating a lot of rice, a lot of bread, a lot of pasta, a lot of cereal. Those things will turn into sugar. Sugar will lead to your getting fat on your body. Instead of eating, your proteins and your vegetables and things like that. So I would say you make some changes for sure. Dietary changes are probably 70 to 80% of your fitness level. What you do in the gym is the other 20 to 30%. But what you do every day, putting food in your mouth 23 hours a day, that you're not at the gym, you're not sleeping. So let's make it, 16 hours a day. That's going to count the most. So
Monica,
you cannot out train a bad diet. You just can't.
So Monica, you're trying to tell me, because I used to be able to do this when I was 18. I can't sit at home and eat my Oreos and then go and get a little, I can't do that all day and just go and then just magically, turn into the whole thing.
I'm sorry to tell you, you can't.
Lord,
and the things we did when we were 18 and we were 20, 25, and we had a fast metabolism and can burn it off. When you get to 35, 40 and above, that metabolism starts to slow down. And those tricks that you used to do back in the day, you're like, why can't I just eat my Oreos and then, run around the block and they're gone? It doesn't work so well anymore. And so that's why those adjustments are necessary.
You are absolutely right. I happened to look down at my belly and I was like, who there? So we have a question from the comments. How do you feel about zero carb diets? How do you feel about those?
I feel very angry about zero carb diets. I am not a fan. I know some people, keto is very popular right now. Personally, I'm not a fan because we need carbs. Carbs are what we use for energy. Carbs are what you use for your brain function. I have done a very low carb diet before. I felt like I was in a fog the whole time. I had headaches. My energy was low. My performance in the gym was suffering because you need those carbs. Now, that being said, they have to be good carbs. They have to be the right carbs most of the time. So Oreos, not good carbs. That's not what your body needs to do. You can't eat cookies all day, every day. That's not going to work. But if you have, carbs that are multi-grain, high in fiber, those are the kind of carbs that you're going to want to look for. And I'm all about balance, right? I don't want anybody to feel like they've got to cut out an entire food group in order to be successful. We need all of them. So carbs in moderation, absolutely. If you're doing keto, that's a different story. But in moderation, almost everything is okay. It's when you overdo it is when the problem happens.
So there are different types of carbs of what you're saying. The Oreo might be different from the brown rice and things like. So what we should, is there any type of carbs we should be striving for?
Yeah. So the difference is simple carbs versus complex carbs. So simple carbs are processed and have a lot of sugar. So even if you get a bag of white bread and you turn it on the back and you read the nutrition label, I encourage everybody, read the labels, please. Don't just eat mindlessly. See what you're putting in your body. You're going to see that white bread has a lot of sugar. That's processed with simple carbs. You pick up the whole wheat bread, it's going to have less sugar because it's higher in fiber. The things that have those higher fiber, those complex carbs, they also will fill you up. So we're like, you can just eat cookies and cookies and cookies, and you're like, I'm still not full. Cookies feels great, and then you have like a part of that sugar. Whoa, this filled me up because it's got that fiber and it's a complex. So we're looking for those that are more nutrient dense and are not full of sugar.
Okay, so Monica, before we go into our next question, I don't know if it's just on my end, but I feel like you're going kind of in and out. We can't hardly hear what you're saying. Hopefully, we can get because you're telling us good stuff, and I don't want anybody to miss this good stuff that you're telling us. Before we go into this next question, because we have a question from the chat. It's still just a tad bit low.
Just make sure the microphone not covered up. Her microphone might be covered up.
Oh, that could be it. Let's see.
There we go. And she's back. Look at Ash. Look at Ash. Everybody give it up for Ash Jones.
Part-time IT.
That's right. Big squad in here.
What would we do without you, Ash? All right, we have a question in the chat box. Monica, how do you feel about vegans that lift? Do they have an advantage over someone, say, like myself, that macros, protein, animal proteins, carbs, fats?
I don't know that they have an advantage or a disadvantage per se. My caution with vegans is make sure you get enough protein, because it's harder, in my opinion, to get enough protein when you're vegan. They do have vegan protein powder. There's plenty of animal substitutes that do contain protein, but read the labels and make sure you're getting enough. So you're still counting your macros when you're vegan. What happens sometimes, I won't say all the time, but sometimes a lot of vegans will substitute and they'll end up having too many carbs and not enough protein. And that's why, you know, if you ever meet somebody, and I don't want to offend anybody, but if you ever meet somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm vegan, and you look at them, you're like, you're not in really good shape though. Like, you know, you meet quite a few kind of pudgy vegans. And often it's because they're not getting enough protein and they're getting too many carbs. So if you're a vegan who lifts, just make sure you're reading those labels, make sure you're still tracking your macros. So even if it's not from animal sources, you're still getting enough protein.
Thank you so much. And guys, make sure you read the back of those labels, because I've had whey protein. You look at the back of it in ingredients, absolute horse crap. You're like, oh, okay, I'll take it anyway. So we have another question.
You're getting a protein bar, and then you look at it, and it's like full of sugar and like 3 grams of protein. Like, don't eat that.
Right. Exactly. We have another question from Tamara Vaughn Gray. Is there a solution to get rid of the baby pooch? Exercise, nutrition practices?
There is, but it's not a spot reducing. So I was hoping somebody was going to ask me about how to get rid of one specific part of their body, you know, the fat in one part of their body, because I've got a good analogy that I like to use. You cannot spot reduce. You cannot say, I just want the fat taken out of here and nowhere else. The analogy is, let's say you and your hubby or your wife, your significant other, they're like, baby, you had a long day. I'm going to run you a bath. And you're like, great, I love baths. So they run the bath and they put the bubbles in it. And you come in and you're like, oh, that is so sweet of you. I love this bath, but I just want you to take out the water from the left corner of the tub. The back left corner. I just want the water out of that. And they're going to look at you and be like, well, I can drain some of the water out. And they drain some of the water out and the water comes out from everywhere. And you're like, no, baby, just the left back corner. And they look at you and they're like, well, I'll get a bucket and I'll try to scoop some of that water out, and the water comes from everywhere. It's just like with your body. You cannot say, I only want fat taken away from one spot. It doesn't work like that. Now, what you can do is you eat well. You know, you read your labels, you count those macros, all that stuff. You eat appropriately for your body and your goals. And the fat's going to come off where it's going to come off. It probably will come off in the belly. It might come off in the arms. It might come off in the booty. I'm sorry. But what you also will do is you'll work out. And the working out part is what builds up the muscle in the part where you want to keep it plumped up. So I don't want to lose my booty. So that means I got to do more lifting in my booty. You know, squats, leg presses, deadlifts, glute bridges, all that stuff. So that muscle still stays built up. And then while you're eating well and everything else, the fat's coming off the rest of your body, all of your body. But you can't just pick the part. That is liposuction. That is not nutrition.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you what, when you start talking about the bubble bath and everything like this, I almost left y'all up here to talk by yourself. I'm like, baby, I'm coming up. So,
I was with you. I was like, point me towards the bubble bath.
so our artwork has been a little quiet today. Do you have any questions, Ash, Jay Weeks? Do you guys have any questions for Monica right now before we go into another question from the comments? You're on mute, my brother. Or I'm deaf.
I did have a question actually. Is there a such thing as losing weight too fast? Like, you change your diet, you are actually losing weight, but you're not exercising. Like, how do you avoid that loose skin from losing weight too fast? Is it, exercise? Is it water? Is it, how do you try to avoid that?
That's like two questions in one. So I'll answer part one and then part two. Part one, yes, there is such a thing as losing weight too fast. Whenever people tell me they're going on like a cleanse or a detox or some like crash form of dieting where they're like, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, I shake my head and I say, please don't, because usually when you lose weight very quickly like that, you gain it back really quickly because you're doing something that is so restrictive that once you come out of it, once you stop, you were starving. You were going to binge, and then you were going to end up gaining most of that weight back, if not more. Or what you end up losing on those types of things often is water weight. So yeah, that's great. And you lose muscle as well. So you lose a water weight once you like start eating normally and drinking normally, then it comes right on back. And now you're not muscular. You're flabby. So part two is about the loose skin. I always say slow and steady wins the race as far as weight loss. We're not trying to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Somebody was the other day was like, I'm going on vacation and I want to be bikini ready in 2 weeks. And I was like, I mean, yeah, you can wear your bikini, but I don't want you to think that losing 20 pounds in 2 weeks is a good idea. It's not a good idea. And if you do it, it's just going to be water and you're just going to look the same in your bikini and you're going to be really dehydrated. So you're going to lose, usually for most people, it's about 2 pounds a week. That's a nice sustainable pace that you create a lifestyle and a habit that once you hit your goal, you can maintain that. You're not starving. You're not going to go back to your old ways. You're not going to binge and go crazy. Also, losing it nice and slow like that, it does help prevent that loose skin happening, but you do want to make sure you're continuing to exercise and do that strength training while you're doing it. Loose skin sometimes happens when people lose a lot of weight, and it's not necessarily about the speed of the weight, but if I got 100 pounds to lose, like my elasticity is not going to be the same once I do it. With my skin elasticity is just not going to be the same. So sometimes if you've got a whole lot of weight to lose, it's a little bit unavoidable. But generally, if you're doing it slow, steady, nutrition wise, exercise wise, you won't have much loose skin.
Thank you so much. We do have Joe. He's on the comment line. Joe is on the line. He said, I'm here, LOL. If you want to ask me a question, I can type my response, LOL. My video connection is terrible right now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask. So Joe, if you would respond to us through the comment section, I do want to ask you the same question that I asked Monica. If you want to respond to me about how you got into fitness, what made you that passion for fitness? What is your passion for? What made you get into it? We do want you to keep trying so you can get back on. So because I know you have a lot of stuff to tell us, man. I know you got a lot of stuff. So if you would keep trying, maybe try a laptop or something like that to get on. Please keep trying. Monica, we have a comment. Question: how do you feel about tummy teas and other fat burners sold as no exercise needing, poking the bear, but really curious?
You see my face when you started that. I was like, no, hell no. I feel worse than the other thing. I feel worse than no carbs about that. Please do not waste your money. Don't waste your money. Those things prey upon people feeling desperate and people not wanting to take the time and put in the work. So they promise, you know what? Tummy tea, all these things, pills, whatever, you'll lose the weight. Again, most of it's going to be water weight. You know what those tummy teas do? They just make you poop. That's all they do. You're just gonna poop, and that's not fat you're pooping out. That is wasting water.
You make it sound like it's a colon cleanse.
It's a colon cleanse. That's not fat in your colon. That's just waste product. So yeah, you get on the scale and you're like, cool, I'm happy, but your clothing size hasn't changed. Nothing has changed, but now you're dehydrated. So
now you got also know when you poop a lot, you get real tired. That's you have a different kind of workout.
Right.
What in the world?
A different kind of workout. Running back and forth to the bathroom every day.
That's right. That's right.
You get
new type of cardio.
Where you say you get your cardio in that way? You're gonna get your steps in from the toilet. Oh Lord,
from running to the toilet.
Yeah. And you have a sore booty. Your arm might be getting a workout from wiping. I don't know. That's
ladies and gentlemen, leave them alone. None of the lose weight fast schemes. They are bad for you. They are bad for you. Remember, there are marketing and companies out there that want to, like as Monica said, they prey on people that are desperate. They want your money. They want to make you go to the bathroom and poop in for no reason at all, and it's terrible.
It is.
All right,
and it really is. It's because we want results fast. You know, nobody wants to wait 6 months to look the way they want to look, or a year. But it takes time. It really does. And I always say, you know, you get it fast, you gain it back fast, and it's not worth it. You know, it really isn't, because you're not changing anything lifestyle wise. You know, so take the 3 things that I always preach: consistency, discipline, and patience. But you got to have patience. So I know we used to a quick response on a text. You can Google something and get information in 20 seconds or less. But when it comes to fitness, it's a journey, it's a marathon, it's a lifestyle, and it takes time.
I am so glad that you said that, Monica. I mean, because this is a world of fast pace, and like you said, we don't want to be patient. You said patience, and patience is a big thing. I know I made that mistake when I first got into lifting. I would go and bench press and go look in the mirror, look at my pecs, and everybody would be like, "Boy, please." So guys, Giovanni's smiling because he remembered those days back in Elizabeth City. So yeah, guys, be patient. It'll come. None of the get fit quick schemes. We want to reach back out to Joe. He responded. He says, I got into bodybuilding at a young age. My brother worked out and one of my friends competed at our local high school. I loved it immediately. Then about 10 years later, I graduated from Rolling College with a degree in psychology. Literally, as I walked out with my degree in my hands, my friend called me and asked me to try personal training at Bally's in Bayshore and Long Island. I tried it all right. Here I am 21 years later, LOL, fitness and bodybuilding and helping people is my passion. And so I'm guessing he's finishing part 2 of the saga right now as we speak. So Joseph,
can I say one more thing about patience?
Yes, you can.
So another thing that people sometimes do, when you were talking about lifting, it actually rung a bell for me. When they're like, all right, this is my year, it's my New Year's resolution or whatever it is, I'm gonna get fit. They go too hard too fast, and a lot of times you injure yourself. So sometimes people are like, yeah, I'm in the gym, I'm gonna go 3 times a day. And, you'll either burn out real fast or you'll injure yourself. So again, slow and steady wins the race. Rome was not built in a day, and you are not going to get in 100% shape in a week. So don't kill yourself the first week, because we got a lot of weeks to go. This is a journey. So, know your body, know when your body is saying, this is too much right now. Lower the weight. You could lower the intensity. If you need a rest day, you take the rest day, but as long as you're staying consistent with it, rather than just trying to go hard in the paint, day 1 through 5, and then you're stuck. You can't move days 7 through 15.
So I want to present this question to Joseph and Monica. I do want you to elaborate on it. For someone that's never worked out before, how do they get started, Joe? How do they get started? So we have 2 questions for you, Monica. The first one, does drinking 3 to 4 bottles of water a day help losing weight?
You should be drinking the water regardless. And 3 to 4 bottles, depending on the size of the bottles, may not even be enough. You know, our bodies are at least 60% water, if not more. And if you are not hydrated, then everything else is going to suffer. Again, your energy is going to suffer. Your brain functioning is going to suffer. A lot of times when you have a headache or you feel really, really tired, it's not because you're sleepy. It's because you're dehydrated. When you're thirsty, it's already too late. So in a way, yes, water will help with weight loss. If you are hydrated, then your body can flush out the water. When you're dehydrated, you hold on to the water. So it sounds almost counterintuitive, because when people first start drinking a lot of water, they get upset because they're like, I'm gaining weight. It's just water. But once you're actually hydrated, that water is going to come out. Your body's holding on to it because you don't have any in there. You don't have enough in there. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's water. I don't know when the next time I'm going to get some water is going to be. Let me hold on to it. And then once you consistently drink the water, then it's fine. That's when you go through the phase where you pee every 10 minutes. And then because your body's like, cool, I can flush it all out now. Good. And then you will regulate. So yes, water also helps with hunger. So a lot of times when people think they're hungry, they're actually thirsty. So I always say, you know, if you think you're hungry, drink a big full glass of water first, wait 10 minutes and see if you're actually still hungry. Sometimes it's just a thirst response. You're just thirsty.
Now, do you guys understand what she is giving you right now? She is giving you gold right now. This is good stuff, guys. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. My fat ass is ready to sign up for 5 sessions right now. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to sign up for 5 sessions right now. We do have another question. I do want to address the question to Joe first. Joe, what is your diet and water intake look like? I know we shared the photo of you and Monica and everything. So someone wants to know what your diet and water intake looks like. Now, this is to either or explain progressive overload. Now, that can be for you, Monica, or that can be for Joe, or you both can tackle this both. I mean, it's up to you.
All right. I'm not sure which one Joe is typing and responding to. So I'll let him, because I'm sure he's got a lot to write as far as his diet and water goes.
Okay.
I'll talk a little bit about progressive overload. Wait, what's that?
Oh, Joe is responding to my earlier question about
I'll talk
somebody
a little
who
bit
is
about progressive overload. Oh, good. Okay.
So Joe, he's responding to the question that I had about somebody who is just getting into fitness, whether they get started. He says to get started, the personal ideally is going to work with a trainer or coach. The coach is going to ask a series of questions to get as much information on the client as possible. You have to consider so many factors when constructing a workout and a nutrition plan: age, height, weight, sex, food allergies or injuries, goals, etc. are all considered. Then when you want to start that person off nice and easy weight training 3 times a week, focusing primarily on form and technique in the beginning. So thank you, Joe. I'll come back with you with another question. You can respond to the progressive overload as well. I'm going to start with Monica with progressive overload.
All right. And Joe is probably going to be the one who's going to explain this much better. But the simplest explanation is, as you get stronger, you keep adding on challenge, right? So, you know, a lot of times people hit this plateau, and it's because they're not constantly challenging their body. They're not progressing, right? So as your trainer, you know, we're able to see, okay, 10 reps at this particular weight, pretty easy. Or by, you know, the last rep, it's a challenge, but it's not a struggle, right? So next time we're going to add some weight, right? So you might not be able to do 10 reps of it. You might be able to give me 8 clean reps, but now you're stronger. So I'm continually challenging your body so you continue to progress and become.
Lord of mercy. So progressive overload until she gets back. I'm gonna try to fill in. I'm gonna try everybody for all our viewers. They're like, we don't want him. Like on Lean On Me, we don't want you. We want Monica. So I'm gonna try to explain as best as I can. Progressive overload, guys. As she said, you're going to get stronger as you go, and in getting stronger, increasing that weight. Oh, she's back. I'm gonna let her finish what she said.
Here I am. Whatever poltergeist had Joe, it got to me too. It cut me off. But yeah, I heard what you were saying, and that's just it. You know, you continually add additional weight, add additional challenge as you continue to get stronger. So that's the simple explanation.
All right, all right. So you're continually getting stronger by adding on weight. We're going to go to the comments real quick. We have another question. Joe has responded. My diet right now is focused on fat loss. I'm cutting for the summer. I eat 5 meals a day. I eat 2 carb meals a day and 3 meals without carbs. I have 1 day a week where I cheat with 2 meals with whatever I want. As long as I'm dropping weight consistently, I stay on course. As I lose more weight, I incorporate more carbs. My water intake is a gallon a day. All right. So, guys, we have another question. How much is a personal trainer? It seems so unrealistic to be able to afford it. So, how much is a personal trainer? And I'm going to also, I mean, when we think of personal trainers, I mean, most of the time people think of personal trainer, they think of something hard, and this is the image that they feel like they're going to walk into. Bam. Hey, come work out with me. So, so how much is a personal trainer? Is it that bad, Mom?
Oh. It's not that bad. It does vary though. So it will depend on, you know, what section of the country you live in, what type of gym you go to, and what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for somebody to design your nutrition plan, if you're looking for somebody to just design workouts for you and coach you through your workouts, if you're looking for somebody to be your accountability and check in with you every few days or every day or every week. So it will depend. You know, it can go on the low end from $50 a session all the way up to, I've seen people charge as much as $200 a session. So also it can be, the cost can be reduced because we've got online options now. We've got the Zoom options as well, and small groups. So a lot of times people will work out with their friend or a family member in groups of 2, 3, up to 5, kind of depending on what they want in order to drop the cost of it. So there's lots of options to keep the cost pretty manageable. And a trainer will let you know, they'll let you know, this is what I charge. These are some options for you, and kind of figure out what plan's going to work best for you. And then think about it. Like I always say, think about the money you spend on just bullshit, right? The money you spend on random stuff every day. Starbucks, the coffee you drink, eating out for lunch, picking up stuff at random, from the store, from Target, from Walmart. All of those things you could be investing in your health. Like I bet you every one of us spends at least $20 a week on some random stuff. Just some stuff that you don't really need. You just decided to get it. Or if you add up all the times you eat out for lunch, eat out for dinner, have a little Starbucks, meet a friend for a drink, all of that you could have paid for a personal trainer and then some. So it's just about kind of balancing your priorities.
Okay. So, hey, make those healthy life choices, guys. Going to Joe's response, he says, progressive overload is focusing and adding weight or reps or sets to the workout as weeks go on to continue to respond and progress. Pretty much what Monica said, just adding on to it. All right. And his response to training is pricing for a trainer should coincide with the trainer's experience level. For myself, I charge more for one session versus if a client buys 10 or 20 sessions. You get what you pay for. My online nutritional counseling, I only charge $200 a month. And that comes with 3 times a week check-ins and constant tweaking of the plan to keep progress moving. Now, we haven't heard from a lot of the panel. So before I go into another question, does any of the panel have any questions that they want to ask Monica or Joe at this time?
So Monica, when you first started on your journey, your marathon, what kept your momentum going when to keep going? What kept you on track. Because, you know, a lot of us start and we're like, we're going to do this. Yeah. And then 2 weeks, I'm like, where's that biscuit? I need a biscuit. So I'm just trying to figure out what kept you going.
Yeah. Seeing results, one, keeps you going, right? Once you see it, oh, this shit's working. And you're like, okay, I'm more motivated to continue on. Now, those first 2 weeks are the hardest ones, right? Because it's something new. It's something your body's not used to. And you don't like it. You're like, I'm sore. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I don't like it. So, you know, either having an accountability partner, telling somebody, this is what I'm doing. I need you to hold me accountable, or a coach, or even if you're going to a gym where you, like with me, it was a gym where I knew everybody there. They knew me, they saw me, and they'd be like, where were you the other day if I didn't show up? So that helped keep me on track. But this journey, this marathon, it is not linear, right? You have your ups and your downs, and you come back to it, and you might fall off the wagon for a little bit and you come back. But it should be at least somewhat consistent. And once you get through that first couple of weeks to a month, then it starts to become a habit, right? Then that's when the discipline comes in and not the motivation. Because there's plenty of days I'm not motivated, where I wake up and I look at the alarm and I'm like, I don't feel like working out. But your brain just is like, this is what we do. We get up and we go. It's just like brushing your teeth. That's where the discipline part comes in, where you make it like part of your day. Like, this is an appointment that I can't miss. I just got to do it. And you know, some days you don't like doing it, but some days you don't like going to work either. But you do it because you like the result, which is your paycheck. And you do it because you don't want the consequence. And that's getting written up if you don't show up for work. I do it because I like the result of feeling good, looking good. And I don't want the consequence of putting on a bikini and being upset with what I see, or feeling bad, feeling lethargic, feeling tired, feeling sluggish. So that's what keeps me on the go.
All right. So Jay Weeks, Artwork, Ash, does any one of you have a question before I go on to the next question?
Yeah. I was to a friend yesterday, and you know, we both was just trying to motivate each other to get back in the gym. For one, you know, the coronavirus threw a lot of us off because, you know, of the restrictions. And the main thing is that pain of starting up again, the soreness. You know, like I think it's called DOMS, or severe DOMS, and it's like I get it bad in my biceps. Like on bicep day, I can't bend my arms, and that's like the main thing that I, you know, just dread starting back up again. Wait, is that soreness of can't, you know, you can't bend your arms or stretch your arms, and you know, what advice will you have for dealing with that? Because that's the thing I hate.
Yeah, I got you. Nobody likes being sore. It's, DOMS, for those who don't know, is delayed onset muscle soreness. So it's like, maybe you won't feel it that day, but the next day and the day after, you're like, oh my God. When you start off, just like I said, you know, earlier, you don't have to start where you were before. You don't have to start hardcore. I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make. They, you know, are like, this is what I used to be able to do when I was in shape. So I'm going to come back and do exactly that. And your body's not ready for it. And your body's going to respond by being like, oh, hell no, this shit hurts. And I'm going to hurt it for the next 3 days. So it's totally okay to ease into it. You don't have to lift what you lifted a year ago. It's all right. You know, you'll get back there. But it's about that, again, progressive overload. You don't start at the top of the mountain. You stop at the bottom and you keep working your way up. So that's what I would say. Don't go as hardcore to start off. You know, dial in the diet. You could start off with a little bit of cardio just to get your body moving again if you've been out of the game for a while. And then you're going to add on your strength training and everything else on top of it. But you don't have to start so hardcore that you're out of it for, you know, the next 3 days and you don't want to go back. You know, because this fitness should at least be a little bit fun. Doesn't have to be all the way fun. You don't have to be, you know, like cheering yourself like, yeah, I love it. I'm never making a happy face when I'm working out. But, you know, it should be at least the point where you're just like, you're not dreading it every single time.
Okay. we have some responses from Joe. He says, for me, I always put discipline beyond motivation because motivation will come and go. Discipline can be reinforced to keep your momentum going. And as far as the soreness, he says you got to embrace the soreness. LOL. Once you get past 2 weeks, it'll be less and less. If it gets bad when you get back into it, hold back a little the first week. Don't train to failure that first week. So training to failure, Monica, can you kind of take or explain what training to failure is for people that don't know what failure is and everything like that?
It's just what it sounds like. So let's say we're doing bicep curls. That training to failure is when you cannot curl it up anymore, that your muscles have failed you. You cannot get it up on your own anymore, or you can't curl it with good form. You're using your whole body to try and yank it up. That is what training to failure is, where your muscles have now failed because you can't do another rep. So like Joe was saying, you don't have to go that hard that first week. You don't have to train all the way to failure, because you will feel it. And he's right. You know, you're going to be sore. You got to embrace that soreness, embrace the suck, as I've heard said. But that first 2 weeks, like I said, that's the hardest. Once you get past that, usually you're golden. You've gotten that rhythm down, that routine down. You're getting your discipline dialed in, and you feel better about it.
Right. So listen, we are at 56 minutes. We have about 4 minutes. I know we said we'll keep you for an hour. I want to ask the question that a lot of women want to know, Monica. How do they get the glutes? How do we get the glutes? How do we work out and get glutes in our exercise? I see Erica shaking her head like, what a question.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it.
Exactly.
Actually, this is a very pertinent question, because I have been on my booty building journey for the last 5 weeks now. So like you were saying, with COVID, like the gyms were closed, and I was doing pretty much 80% cardio. I was running a lot, right? And my husband said, you literally ran your ass off, literally, because my booty was just like, it was not there anymore. It was droopy. It was squishy. It was not happening. So, but in order to build, and I had to allow myself to do this, you got to eat and you got to lift. And I was so used to being in a caloric deficit, not eating enough to try and stay at a certain weight, that I was to eat more. And I had to stop weighing myself for a month and just say, I'm going to eat so I can have the calories, and I'm going to lift these heavy weights. And the booty bands, and I would do activation exercises before I went to go train legs and glutes. And even though I'm a cardio hit junkie, I made myself dial it in with the weight and do it. And then, I took my progress pictures every week, and I was like, boom, spoon back up. It's lifting back up again. And yes, just like the bathtub, I gained a little fat in places that I didn't necessarily want to gain fat, but it was worth it for my booty, and I know how to cut it.
I'm sorry, but it's just the way that the feed sounded. It was speeding up and slow it down. I mean,
it was like a remix
going on right now. It was like, so I mean,
it's like, I got a lot of weight, but it was worth it because my booty was big. Okay.
So we got Joe. He's gonna come in and he says, for glutes, reverse elevated lunges, leaning slightly forward, sumo dumbbell squats, step ups, horizontal legs with exaggerated range of motion, safely. The stair machine on a low level, squeezing on every step helps huge too. So thank you so much, Monica. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about that? I don't know what's going on with our sound today. It's just,
No, he's absolutely right. I did my squats. I did my glute bridges. I did my Bulgarian, what they call Bulgarian split squats, which is that slightly.
Did you say?
Back. I did my.
She said Bulgarian split squats.
Build up that muscle, and now it's nice and round and lifted again. So.
All right. So look, we have come to 1 hour. We want to thank. Oh, she's. We want to thank you so much, Monica. And we want to thank Joseph as well for coming on. Hey, guys, we can't thank you enough. Thank you for this whole hour of fitness expertise. Monica, I know you're on the West Coast. It's only, what, 6 o'clock over there? So I know you got a lot of sunshine to go enjoy. To go and train. Joe, I know you want to get back into the gym. He says, thanks, guys. Sorry for the connection. It was a pleasure. Guys, we thank you so much. Audience, we thank you for interacting with us. We thank you for your questions. Remember, once again, guys, please, you can contact Monica or her email at fitmonicavegas@gmail.com or on Instagram at fitmonicavegas. Or you can contact Joseph Orhablo on Facebook at Joseph Orhablo or email Joseph C. Orhablo at gmail.com. Once again, thank you so much, guys. Is there anything that anyone wants to say before we close out?
Oh, yeah. Let me say one thing. I gotta give a shout out to my mama, who was watching us tonight. Hey, mama.
Hey, what's up, Mom?
Hey, Mama
How you
Weeks.
doing?
Hey, Mama.
Turn my light on because she said dark. Well, dark. So
you was in here looking like Batman. Where are they?
I was like, he came to the wrong episode. We talking about fitness. He is sitting in the dark. What's going on?
I'll try my Kevin Samuels vibe. It didn't work. So
apparently,
I'm like, who you done snitched on? He trying to hide his identity. I'm like, well,
it was either that or you didn't pay your light bill.
But once again, thank you so much, guys, and thank you for coming into the Good Guy Experience, where the experience is always good, guys. We will see you next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Peace.
The Good Guy Experience.